On a summer morning in 2023, outside of Las Vegas, Nevada, 46-year-old Jonathan Willett was found by his own mother, decapitated in his bedroom. Just a really clean cut. And then, there was no head. What kind of person could do this? What kind of rage or cold calculation drives someone to not just kill, but to remove a man's head from his body? And here's what makes this case truly disturbing. The killer wasn't a stranger. The killer shared his blood, shared his bed, shared his children. The father of 3 had been a friendly guy, hardworking, reliable. Behind his easygoing demeanor and smiling selfies was a man with a family in chaos. In the aftermath of his gruesome death, detectives uncovered the dark secrets held by those closest to John. Along with them, motive for murder. Shame on you. That's terrible. God, you are killing me. This is something I didn't do. There's some anger now, huh? Yoko Willett was confused when she awoke on the morning of August 7th, 2023. At her home in Henderson, Nevada, her son, 46-year-old Jonathan Willett, appeared to still be in bed at 8 a.m. Yoko peered into his room and saw only the shape of his body under the covers. Receiving no response from her calls to John, she finally entered his bedroom. There she saw only a motionless body in the bed and puddles of blood. Yoko's boyfriend, Yoshida, the only other person in the house, placed a call to 911. Officers and paramedics arrived at the home in the 2000 block of Paladura Drive before 9 a.m. When responders entered the home, they found John lying on his front in the bed, sheets covering his body. His head had been removed, and it was missing. Think about that for a moment. A mother discovers her son's body. No head, no explanation. Just blood and silence, and a question that would haunt everyone involved.
Okay. Alright. So let's lock this down then.
Where is it? Officers established the house as a crime scene and began taking stock of the bizarre details. First, the obvious. John's head was nowhere in the house. There was no obvious murder weapon, no implements left behind that could potentially have been used to commit this gruesome crime. Indeed, had the decapitation occurred in the bedroom, there was little evidence left behind. The scene was oddly clean. Next to the bed were John's boxer shorts. He was found to be undressed under the sheets. Amongst other scattered items on the floor were 2 belts knotted together. These were also discarded near the bed. An empty bottle of ammonia and another of bleach were observed in the hallway outside of the bathroom. A pungent scent, likely from a combination of these chemicals, permeated the lower level of the house. It was strongest in the bedroom. The chemical smell seemed to worsen the longer it was inhaled. As officers struggled with the increasing burning sensation they experienced while breathing the air in the room, they also began to notice what they believed was smoke rising from the bed beneath John.
"Hey, Sarge, this guy is smoking." And I was like, "What?" He said, "This guy is smoking. There's smoke coming from underneath him."
Photos of the scene were taken as rapidly as possible, out of fear that a fire may break out at any moment. Thankfully, it did not. John's autopsy revealed that cleaning solutions had been wiped all over his body, causing chemical burns. These injuries were sustained after his death. The same was true of the decapitation. That brutal act had also been post-mortem and was not the injury that killed him. Though cruelly, the medical examiner was unable to determine exactly what had caused his death. The conclusion reached in the autopsy report was that John Willett had died of homicidal violence, the exact nature of which was unknown. A forensic expert determined that 2 different implements were used in the decapitation. The first was a manual tool, which left distinct hesitation marks. The second was a power tool, such as a mechanically powered saw. Someone started cutting, hesitated, then finished the job with a power saw. This wasn't rage. This was methodical. Had Jonathan Willett not been brutally murdered, he would have turned 47 years old that November. John was born at the Yokota Air Base Hospital in Tokyo, where his father was stationed while serving in the U.S. Air Force. He moved several times in his childhood, from Japan to Montana, then California, before his family finally settled in Henderson, Nevada, following his father's retirement. For over 20 years, John worked on the Las Vegas Strip for various companies selling timeshares. In the years before his death, he established a moving company.
Damn, Vegas moving guy. Fucking 6 a.m. The pod motherfuckers coming at 9. Bam. Can't work miracles, but I do magic, motherfucker.
As the Vegas moving guy, John's truck and trailer were a regular presence around the Las Vegas Valley. He loved and took pride in his work, a very extroverted and chatty man. He loved nothing more than getting to know his clients and making new friends.
Hey, don't touch nothing. I was told you're not allowed to touch nothing. It's the husband. Look, man, we at Jamie Foxx's house.
Yeah, man.
I gotta send a shout out to DJ, moving in his new house. Congratulations.
My
and then
dog.
picking the Vegas moving guy. Look.
Hey.
He was known as a hard-working and selfless man. But here's what you need to understand about this case. The John that the world saw and the John that existed within his own family were two very different people. Not because he was hiding something dark, but because his family was. John's personal life was not as pleasant and straightforward as his professional one. He had full-time custody of 2 young daughters. Their mother, a former adult movie actress, Devon, had been granted supervised visitation. In practice, however, they often skirted these restrictions and shared their care and time with their daughters. John's eldest son, Devon, was from an earlier relationship. The 27-year-old held a job as a home security system technician. He installed security cameras. The two had been close at one time, even working together.
You know, we gotta stick Devier's ass in there. He's the youngest, he gonna get wet.
More recently, their relationship became strained when John discovered that his son had secretly married the mother of his children. Let that sink in. John's adult son married John's ex-girlfriend, the mother of John's young daughters. His son became both stepbrother and stepfather to John's girls. And John, he was Devon's ex-lover, but now he was also her father-in-law. 45-year-old Devon went by many names: Nikki Fairchild, Tracy Tavares, Sally Bowles. Yoko knew her as Nikki, while friends from her past called her Dee.
Hey everyone, it's me, Devon Michaels. We are on our final hour of our open house over here at 9179 Smuggler's Beach Court. It is right off of Blue Diamond in El Capitan. Come say hi.
Roughly 18 years his senior, Devon had entered into a clandestine romance with her then 19-year-old stepson years earlier. How much John knew about his son's relationship with Devon is unclear. They had kept the marriage a secret, never informing John's mother, Yoko, for example, that they were even a couple. It was clear that John's eventual discovery of the marriage came as a shock. He wrote to Devon, "You have nothing to tell me, WTF," followed by, "Devil's shit." Even more unexpected, despite these bizarre circumstances. In the days leading up to his death, John was moving from his mother's home on Paladura to once again live with Devon and their daughters, at the house she shared with Devier. According to Yoko, the two were reconciling. They were to be a traditional family once again. It was not clear how Devier fits into that picture. And this is where it gets complicated. Because if you're thinking this sounds like a motive for murder, you're not alone. The question is, whose motive? The wife who might lose her husband, or the son who might lose his wife? Investigators first interviewed Devon at her home on Porcupine Rim Street in North Cheyenne, another neighborhood in the Las Vegas Valley. The audio was recorded. Devon told investigators that John had recently broken off an engagement with another woman. He wanted to move in with her to establish greater stability for their daughters.
His ring, he actually threw his engagement ring in the trash last night. So he said it's done, he's 100% done, and he wants to have a family with the girls and everything, but we're not fighting back and forth.
Yeah.
We brought as much as we could to the house last night.
As investigators continued to probe, Devon's characterization of their family dynamic became more confused. She claimed that neither her relationship with the father of her children, nor her relationship with her husband, who was his son, was intimate in nature.
So you guys have been off and on since when?
No, we're not off and on, we're just trying to make a family work. Like, we're not physically intimate or anything like that. We're just trying to, because the girls really want us with one house, yeah.
Do you have a boyfriend or anything right now?
Yeah, I'm married.
You're married?
Yes.
And we were told that you guys are possibly trying to get back together.
No, we're trying to get everyone in one house and be a family.
Oh, okay.
For the girls.
So, who are you married to?
I'm married to them, yeah.
The son?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. So Debbie, his son, and you are now married. How long are you married?
Almost 2 years.
Both Devon and Devier downplayed the romantic nature of their union when questioned by police, describing their marriage as one of convenience, not intimacy. Devier claimed that he married his stepmother primarily to help her out, as a caregiver to both her and his younger sisters. She claimed to have multiple medical conditions that required a number of prescriptions and frequent hospital stays, which made her life challenging. Devier offered to help.
You know, without Yoko, doesn't sound like she knows.
She doesn't know that we are married like that. She just thinks that we are still there.
So what was your reason for getting married to Debbie?
Because legally, as my spouse, he has more rights and access to things that someone just as a random.
So like they got prescriptions,
He would do anything as my spouse. I had to go into the hospital and an ambulance came to one that took care of all of that.
Okay. So are you guys like intimate together? Does he in your room?
Sometimes, like, I'll fall asleep when we watch TV, but he sleeps on the couch.
Only in later conversations did Devon concede that she had at one time been physically intimate with her young husband. But she claimed that had not been the case for years. Police searched both of John's homes, his mother's house on Paladura, where he was killed, and the house on Porcupine Rim, where he was in the process of moving. At Devon's, they uncovered a wealth of evidence that appeared to contradict her statements to police. Pictures from her traditional wedding ceremony with Devier, both very happy and appearing very much in love. There were further family portraits with the girls. Many images showed them being overtly affectionate, most revealing on the bed in the room they shared. Investigators found a notebook, pages and pages of handwritten notes and letters detailing the 45-year-old's love for the man that had once been her stepson. One letter addressed to Devier began, "My dearest love, I cannot begin to tell you how grateful I am for you." It later continued, "I am yours forever, mind, body, and soul. So much for a marriage of convenience." Though the picture painted by Devon's notes was not all happiness and romance. The couple clearly had a tumultuous relationship. They argued frequently, leading Devier to escape to California for a time, leaving Devon devastated and angry. "I lost everything for you, and you leave me at my lowest," she wrote. Investigators would learn that after Devier moved to California, Devon tried to force him to return to Nevada. She told him that she was pregnant with his child. If he did not return to her, she would have the baby, she said, and tell everyone who the father was. He did ultimately return to her. Correspondence between the two showed a roller coaster of emotions. It revealed that Devon had attempted to leave Devon more than once, before being enticed back one way or another. Messages showed Devon furious over their arguments and her husband's attempts to leave her. Though at other times, their exchanges showed a young man who appeared passionate and desperately in love, perhaps living a kind of secret fantasy. The house searches cast light on more than just the secret marriage. It revealed further lies told by Devon Michaels in her first conversations with law enforcement. Police searched all of the trash at the Paladura house. They were looking for a weapon, evidence of a cleanup, perhaps an implement used in the decapitation. They found none of these items. They also did not find the engagement ring that Devon claimed to have seen John throw into the trash the day before he died. Why did she lie about that? There were more inconsistencies. She told investigators that John had registered guns, which had been moved to the Porcupine Rim house, but without ammunition, because she did not have a gun safe. Yet under the counter in a bathroom, they found exactly that, a gun safe. She lied about that as well. Then, in the back of a dresser drawer which held her underwear, police pulled out a bundle of plastic bags wrapped around a couple of small items. They slowly removed each layer to reveal John's driver's license, as well as his truck keys. Both John and his vehicle were still at his mother's house. Yet these key personal items had made their way back to Devon's home, hidden away in her chest of drawers. Elsewhere in the bedroom, inside of a small backpack-style purse, they located his Social Security card. Most damning, however, was what investigators first spotted as they approached Devon at her home on Porcupine Rim. A cell phone in the grass, close to the driveway. There was a substance smudged on the screen. It appeared to be blood. Testing would later confirm that the cell phone was John's, and the blood tested positive for his DNA. Remember this phone. It will become the single most important piece of evidence in this entire case. Cell phone location data was used in conjunction with local security camera footage and neighborhood doorbell cameras to piece together the movements of John Devon and Devon in the hours before the beheading. The tracking showed Devon at home. He was looking after the girls. Devon and John, however, were on the move. They spent John's last day together, shopping for back-to-school supplies for their daughters, and moving John's belongings. By after 8 p.m., they had arrived at the Paladura house. Devon's Nissan Armada was parked off to the side of the house. They drove John's Vegas moving guy truck back to Porcupine Rim to deliver a load of John's belongings before returning once again to Yoko's home in Henderson on Paladura. They made one additional stop on their way back at a gas station, where they fueled up and purchased a few small items. John was captured with a smile on his face as he entered and exited the store. Devon was wearing a white tank top, blue shorts, black sneakers, and carried the same small black bag that was later searched by investigators. After their brief stop, cameras tracked their arrival at Yoko's house at 10:12 p.m. Investigators believe that John was murdered sometime after this point, and before Devon left the house 4 hours later at 2:04 a.m. 4 hours. Somewhere in those 4 hours, a man was killed. His head was removed, the scene was cleaned, and his bloody phone ended up at his killer's house. 2 events within this time frame were documented. The first was at 11 p.m. when the neighbor's security camera captured an individual unlocking the Nissan, opening the driver's side door, and placing something inside. Both cell phone tracking and the lights from the Nissan shown on camera suggested that the vehicle was then pulled forward slightly to park directly in front of the house, right next to John's truck and trailer, out of view of the camera. The second event was an encounter between Devon and Yoko, which took place in the kitchen sometime around 1 a.m. Yoko came downstairs from her bedroom for a glass of water. In the kitchen, she spoke with Devon for a period of roughly 15 minutes. The two did the dishes. Yoko would later recount that she believed that Devon was surprised to see her, but that there was no blood visible on her. Devon told Yoko that John was asleep in his room. This statement seemed to contradict what Devon told investigators, that John was awake and having a cigarette in the garage when she left. Shortly after speaking with Yoko, the Nissan left the house just after 2 a.m. Devon and John's cell phones traveled to Porcupine Rim, arriving roughly an hour later. There was only one stop made on that trip, and it was not to an area with a trash bin or a similar location suitable for the disposal of evidence. It was to a pharmacy. At 2 a.m., Devon went to a CVS drive-thru to collect a prescription for one of her daughters. Though the view is not completely clear, she appears to be wearing a white tank top, similar to the one she was wearing at the gas station with John hours earlier. Again, just as Yoko had noted an hour before, Devon does not appear to have any blood on her. She is recorded calmly taking a sip of water from her bottle, collecting the medication, and driving away. John was discovered in his bed less than 6 hours later, at 8 a.m., on August 15th, roughly 1 week following John's death. Devon was arrested and interrogated by detectives from the Henderson PD. She took them through her last day with John step by step, right up to the point that she collected the prescription at the CVS drive-thru and returned home. But this time, there was an added detail. After they returned to Paladura, she described John lying on his bed while she gave him a massage. She told detectives that he made an unwanted advance. So she walked across the room, picked up an unidentified wooden object from a shelf, and hit him over the head with it. The blow, she said, did not kill him. She knew he was still breathing. Devon claimed that when she left the house that night, John was still alive. She did not decapitate him.
I hit him. He was breathing. I did.
I didn't know he was breathing.
You could tell when a person is breathing.
Okay.
The chest goes up and down.
Okay, you said it was dark.
You could still know when someone was breathing.
In the dark.
It's not pitch dark, but yeah, it's not.
So you can't see an area on his head because it's so dark, but you can see his chest moving? You can't see what you grab off the shelf because it's so dark, and you walk over, and then you can see him breathing?
Yeah, you could see some person breathing. Their eyes can't adjust.
Devon's claims about what motivated her to attack the father of her children were varied and inconsistent. At first, she implied that she hit him in response to unwanted sexual contact. She also later stated that she and John had been in a physical relationship in exchange for him paying her bills. Devon made accusations of abuse and suggested that John had a problematic relationship with alcohol. He had been a heavy drinker. Devon also made a claim that she meant to hurt John just enough to hospitalize him. Then she could figure out what to do with the children. For investigators, it was this motivation that seemed to provide the most obvious explanation for the murder. With John out of the way, Devon would regain custody of her girls. Without him moving into the house, she would have the family that she desired, but with the husband that she really wanted. When confronted about the decapitation and the cleanup, Devon vehemently insisted that she had no recollection of that period of time, and that it was impossible for her to have done what they said.
I feel like it's not real. No, everything, like, all of this feels like a nightmare. I remember being with him, and him, us talking and everything like that, but the actual, it does not feel real. I don't feel I was there that long. I remember being there, Yoko, pharmacy,
home. I thought I was home at like 2 something. You guys are saying it was,
2:42.
yeah, I promise you.
Okay, so after you get home.
I got home, I got a shower, and went to bed. I don't remember, and in my recollection, it was not like that. I remember talking to Yoko, giving her the keys, picking up my stuff, and walking out the door. I do not remember any of this. They told me, they asked me, where's his head? And until then, I didn't know anything about that. They're like, well, didn't Debbie ever tell you? No, Debbie didn't tell me anything about that. Well, did he leave that night? No, I don't remember Debbie leaving, but I don't remember anything. I just remember going home and everything. I don't remember.
Okay.
I remember the driving to the pharmacy. I just remember being at the pharmacy.
Investigators speculated that Devon disposed of the evidence from the scene directly into a neighbor's trash can. The scheduled garbage collection was that morning, only hours away. If she carried items outside in a laundry basket, away from the view of the neighbor's camera, it would have been collected by the time Yoko discovered John's body the next day.
No, this is because it empties out after you cut his head off.
I didn't cut his head off.
Oh, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Including. Explain how this happened.
I don't know. I can't cut a person's head off.
But you can hit him with a stick. Is there a chance that that could have been a knife of some sort? Why? How do you know it was dark? Doesn't make sense, does it?
Devon was shown the bottles of cleaning products on the floor that had tested positive for her DNA. These bottles were identical to products located in her home. She was confronted over the phone data that John's cell phone had traveled with her to her house with his blood on it. Devon explained that John had cut his hand while moving furniture into his trailer earlier that day. It was logical that he would have bled a little onto his device. He had told her to keep his other personal items safe while moving. But the medical examiner determined that the only bleeding injury John had sustained on his entire body was at the neck, nothing on his hand. Despite the mounting evidence, Devon continued her denials. She cited a medical condition that impacted her memory.
You think that you're smarter than me?
No, I don't think I'm smarter than anybody. But I didn't do this. And you're telling me because I have the same cleaning.
No.
No. The cell phone that you take, you have to take the cell phone from his house back to your house after he's dead, because there's blood on it. His wallet, his keys, things that you're not supposed to have wrapped up in a bag 8 times shoved in your underwear drawer. Number 1, you're the last person to see him. You're the last person to physically assault him. Hit him in the head. He's in the exact same spot. I think we're done.
Absolutely. And your girls are definitely going to resent you because you can't even have the audacity to give them closure. Shame on you. That's terrible.
God, you accused me of this!
Oh, so there's some...
I didn't do it!
There's some anger now, huh?
I told you from the beginning I didn't do it!
Is that how you feel against him?
No! That is not how I feel against him!
I think you're just upset that you got.
In July 2025, Devon Michaels agreed to a plea deal that would see her serve a life sentence for murder with the possibility of parole after 15 years. When it came time to address the court and formally accept her sentence, she instead took the opportunity to proclaim her innocence.
I know right now no one in the family is going to believe me. I know right now no one in the family feels that I'm innocent at any point, and I understand that, but I can actually prove my innocence. I actually can, and I'm not going to stop fighting to prove my innocence. I have more than enough, and Jonathan deserves to have the actual person who's guilty behind bars.
Devon accused the state and Henderson investigators of manipulating the evidence against her and twisting the truth.
The way that they manipulated and altered and deleted things is wrong. They should not be able to do it, and they have. And for you to be able to look me in the eye knowing that the things are altered and...
You pled guilty, man.
Miss Michael, you are not to address the state. You are to address me. You are. You're addressing Mr. Redondo. You are going to address me. What do you want me to say? What do you want to say to me?
Judge, I'm not comfortable with this record. I'm willing to let her out of the plea if the court is inclined.
I don't know how to face this.
All right.
It's just, this wouldn't be appropriate.
I completely understand.
Let's go to trial.
All right. Ms. Michael, Judge Mr. Giordano says that he's willing to let you out of your plea and he's willing to try this case. And you understand that he's willing to try this case on an open murder. So a jury can convict you of first-degree murder. You understand that? Or do you want to talk to Mr. Patrick about it?
Well, I don't want to talk to Mr. Patrick. He didn't listen to anything I said.
Miss Michaels, I need you to understand what I'm saying to you and answer my question.
Yes.
Do you want to withdraw your plea and go to trial?
Yes, please.
All right. This plea is going to be withdrawn. Mr. Patrick, I need you to have some...
The plea deal was withdrawn. Devon Michaels stood trial for the murder of Jonathan Willett in November 2025. Devon went to trial with a new defense attorney, Robert Draskovich, who also presented a new defense. At the center of his argument was the assertion that Devon's young husband, Devier, had killed his father. Draskovich argued that investigators were too quick to discount the son as a suspect. After all, the 27-year-old was poised to lose both his wife and his home if his father moved in and took his place. Cell phone data placed Devier at home, taking care of his two sisters, or rather, his stepdaughters, during the 4-hour period in which the state determined that the murder occurred. But could he not have simply left his cell phone at home?
Again, he's ruled out and basically not on the radar because he didn't have the phone on him when his dad was killed. He killed his father. He just left his phone at home when he did that.
There was some activity on Devier's device while it registered at the house on Porcupine Rim. At 10:36 p.m., he texted his wife telling her that he was going to bed. Roughly 2 hours later, his wife still not at home. He was awake and viewing photos of the two of them together. The state suggested this phone data was an alibi. The defense argued it showed motive to kill his father. When Devier took the stand, he was soft-spoken and reserved in his responses. At the time of the trial, he and Devon, who he often referred to as Nikki, were still legally married. He told the jury about his marriage and the strain that it had placed on his relationship with his father.
When you're having this sexual relationship with Nikki, is it a tumultuous relationship?
I don't know the definitions of it.
Okay. Is there a lot of kind of arguing and back and forth, or you describe it for me?
There was arguing back and forth.
Devon was not the only one who initially lied to law enforcement in the first days of the investigation. Devier had also told detectives that he was in a marriage of convenience, stating that he slept on the couch every night. At that time, he also said that he and his father had never gotten along. On the stand, however, he testified to a different version of events, admitting that his marriage had been authentic. He also told jurors that he loved his father. They only ever argued when they had worked together.
Would you have had any reason to kill him?
No, sir.
Did you want out of this relationship with Nikki at varying points of time?
Yes, sir.
And so had your dad moved in and you've been told you gotta go stay at a buddy's house and move out or whatever, would that have been a big deal for you at the time?
Absolutely.
You were asked, were you estranged from your father? And you said, we didn't get along, correct?
Only while working, sir, yes.
I'm sorry?
Only while we worked together.
So you're still saying you guys got along just fine, but it was just work related?
Anytime I was with him, I had a good time.
I see. But you guys don't text, you don't call, correct?
Not after he found out I was married.
You went to the Palo Verde residence, didn't you? The Palo Verde residence.
No, sir. If you're talking about the night time my father was married,
Yeah.
I was home with the girls. We watched a movie. I put them to sleep. I received a text her letting her know that I put them to sleep, and I went to sleep myself.
And that's your testimony under oath, correct?
Yes, sir.
A motion-activated home security camera positioned around the corner from the Porcupine Rim home captured Devier's white work truck parked in front of the house on the evening of August 6th. It was in the same position the following morning, until he left for work at around 7 a.m. No cameras in the neighborhood captured him leaving, either in the van or by any other means between those times. Indeed, there was only one street leading to and from the neighborhood. No vehicle could have driven it without being captured on camera. The distance between the two houses is about 25 miles. The defense suggested that if anyone was in a position to successfully avoid detection from home security cameras, it would be Devier who worked in the field. A technician would notice camera placements and understand better than others how to avoid capture. They circled through countless pictures from Devier's phone of all the cameras that he had installed. They also pointed to a footprint located in the backyard of the Paladura house. It was never analyzed against any suspects. Could Devier have accessed the house in the night through the backyard? Undetected through a translator. Yoko told the jury that she spoke with Devon, who she knew as Nikki, around 1 a.m. on August 7th. After returning to her bedroom, she was awoken by a loud noise followed by dogs barking. She estimated that was at roughly 2 a.m., though she had previously told police, as well as the grand jury, that she believed the noises she heard had been later, closer to 3 a.m., which would have been outside of the window of time for Devon to have committed the murder. Yoko's partner Yoshida testified that he had been using a butcher knife to prepare dog food on the afternoon of August 6th. The next day, the knife was missing. It was never found. In addition to the allegations made by Devon's defense team towards her husband, they also poked holes in how the investigation was conducted. Nearly every witness who had attended the crime scene testified that there was far less blood than they would have anticipated seeing, given the nature of John's injuries, that a power tool had been used, and there was no spatter anywhere on the walls, could have suggested that he was actually decapitated elsewhere and later moved to the bed. Luminol testing to reveal stains that had been wiped clean was never undertaken. There was no direct evidence linking Devon to the gruesome act, no link to the tools used. Draskovic suggested that someone installing home security systems every day likely kept such power tools for their work.
Reasonable to assume, common sense would dictate that the person that killed him decapitated him. And through the course of this evidence, they have not shown a scintilla of evidence that she was involved with the decapitation. She didn't do it. Try and paint her as this devious, manipulative, conniving temptress. But think about that, the flip side, 19-year-old. You know, when we talk about motive, what drives a person to murder, is it not passion of a young man? His first love? His first love that's coming to an end when dad's coming in and moving him, the dad that he said was never there for him.
When it came time for the state to close its case, prosecutor John Gordoni told the jury that it was time to shift the focus back towards reality, that there was an overwhelming amount of evidence that Devon Michaels had committed this murder and everything that followed. Accusing an innocent man would not change that.
Let's talk about reality. I want to commend my colleagues over here who represented Ms. Michaels first, because they've done an exceptional job And Ms. Michaels is entitled to a fair trial like we talked about in jury selection. They've done a good job of coming through and poking as many holes as they can in the evidence, and I commend them on that. But make absolutely no mistake, that woman is guilty as sin. That family deserves justice. Those girls deserve justice. Do not take this lightly just because a real polished defense attorney gets up here and spins a yarn for you. Do not take this lightly. Those people deserve justice. What single piece of evidence suggests Devier did this? Not one. Not a one. And when you start accusing an innocent guy of murder, Devier, you got to think about this for a second. That young man was taken advantage of. She is an experienced woman, much older than Devier. He's a young knucklehead, and I would submit to you that when you heard from him, no disrespect, but that guy's not a criminal mastermind. He's not somebody who snuck out the back of the house, evaded all cameras, he left his phone behind because he was thinking ahead to what he was going to do, somehow made it all the way across town, even though he didn't have his phone to contact anyone. There's no Uber notifications or pickups or anything suggested. There's no calls, no text, nothing after 11 o'clock. So who did he contact and when?
It was undeniable that there were gaps in the case. There was missing evidence and no specified cause of death. Nonetheless, the bloody cell phone alone was enough to prove who the killer was.
There were clearly going to be unanswered questions in this case, right? There's a missing head. There's a missing murder weapon. There's missing implements, no doubt. But think big picture, forest from the trees. Think about reality, right? Just because she ditched the head and therefore the doctors can't confidently say what injury did it, does that mean she gets a reward? Like, does she get to benefit from the actions she took to cover up? Of course not. Does that mean we can't convict her of murder? Of course not. There are no bleeding injuries on his body, except for up here. The phone left at 2:04 with a droplet of blood on it. That means the murder happened before 2:04. It had to. Nothing else would make sense.
The jury deliberated for just under 2 hours before returning with a verdict: guilty.
State of Nevada plaintiff versus Devon Jade Michaels, aka Jonathan Willett, aka Nikki Fairchild, aka Tracy Baker, aka Tracy Nicole Tavares, defendant. Case number C-23-377-239-1, Department 10. Verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Devon Jade Michaels, as follows. Count 1, murder with use of a deadly weapon. Guilty of first-degree murder with use of a deadly weapon. Dated this 14th day of November, 2025, signed.
After refusing her plea deal, Devon Michaels was granted her wish to make her case for innocence in front of a jury. But she never testified, and the evidence that she claimed would prove her innocence was never produced. The judge has set the sentencing date for January 8th, 2026. She faces 51 years to life in prison.
Motherfucker asked me yesterday, how do I have so much drive or energy? So I told him, man, the key is happiness. You gotta do something that you like to do, and it ain't like work. It don't matter if you go to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, don't matter. You're gonna have a fucked up time. But if you have happiness, man, if you happy, all that shit don't matter, man. I don't be working. I be helping motherfuckers doing the shit I want to do. So it's not even like work.